So a lot of this kind of sounds like doom and gloom, like we have all this trash and all this pollution, but it's getting better, right? Our composting and recycling rates are going up. We are addressing issues of the past. We are learning from our mistakes. So what can you do? Like literally you watching this video, what can I do? You've probably heard this saying before. You have the reduce, reuse, recycle. And then I'm throwing in another one, calling it discard responsibly. You've heard these before. I'm not going to talk too much about them, but I do want to really emphasize this is in order. You should first be reducing that waste in the first place. So for example, let's use a plastic bag, because that's just kind of an easy example. So here's a plastic bag. Here we go. First thing you should do is reduce using it in the first place. This would be like using a canvas or reusable bag. By reducing it, that plastic bag didn't have to be created in the first place. Yes, maybe it's just one plastic bag, but if everyone is doing this, that means grocery stores don't need to order as many plastic bags. If they're not ordering as much, that means the plastic bag producers don't have to make as much, meaning they don't have to use those materials as much. So really avoiding types of waste in the first place. If you're avoiding using it, that means you're not going to throw it away, but it also means it doesn't have to be created in the first place, and the demand for these one-time use materials goes down. Let's say you forgot though. You get to the grocery store, you totally forgot, and they give you a plastic bag. You're like, alright, well, that's cool. The next thing you can do is at least reuse it. So here, nice little trash can. This is how I personally reuse my plastic bags. I don't have many plastic bags. Sometimes I go to the grocery store just to get plastic bags, just to use them in my trash cans, as small trash cans. So you know what, instead of just using this once for it to bring home my groceries and then throwing them away, why don't I use them again and put them in my trash cans to collect my other waste. This can be used like a regular trash bag, just like any other trash bag. Instead of me going out and buying small trash can bags, instead I'll just reuse these. Or use these to bring food to work, or use them for whatever. Alright, now you're like, well, you're still going to throw that away. Yes, I am, but I at least used it at least one more time before throwing it away. Then finally, recycling. Now, plastic bags are kind of an exception to this because you can't throw plastic bags in a typical recycling container, but like grocery stores will take them back. But at least recycle it so that we can reuse those materials to create more plastic bags or to create some other material. And then finally, discarding responsibly. So if you have something that can't be recycled, if you're going to get rid of it, at least get rid of it in a smart way. And we'll talk about that more. I really don't need to re-emphasize reduce and reuse. You know this stuff. I do want to talk a little bit about recycling, particularly here in Montgomery County. You guys know that you can recycle metal and plastics and papers. I kind of want to talk about maybe some of the rules that you didn't know. And this might help you when making recycling decisions, for example. So here in Montgomery County, we can recycle most plastics. If you look at the bottom of most plastic containers, they have a number on them. They have this triangle and then a number. Those numbers range from 1 to 7. In Montgomery County, you can recycle all of them except number 6. If there is a number 6 on it, you cannot recycle it. If it has any of these other numbers, you can. You can recycle coated cartons. So those milk cartons that come in like the square box or like juice cartons, those can be recycled. Those go under paper recycling though. That is a type of paper that can be recycled. Pizza boxes. You cannot recycle the entire pizza box. Paper that is wet or has food residue or oil residues cannot be recycled. Pizza boxes usually are the ones that come to mind. However, you can take the pizza box and essentially rip off the lid, right? The lid shouldn't have any residues on it. If you want to go above and beyond, you can even cut around the residual residues on the bottom of the pizza box and recycle all the parts that didn't have the pizza kind of soaked in through it. So again, it has to be the parts without the residues. Whatever you recycle when it comes to your plastics or your glass or metal, you do need to empty those of anything that's in them and rinse them. If there's a cap or anything, make sure the cap is separated. A main reason for these rules is that the recycling center, a lot of it is hand sorted, and it's making their job so much easier if all of it's already prepared. If they come across a water bottle that has water still in it, I personally don't know what they do, but given how much volume they have, honestly, they probably throw it away. They literally don't have time to do the step that you and I are supposed to do. So just keep that in mind. And then finally, paper beverage cups. So at this point, you guys should be using a reusable coffee mug or reusable water bottle, but if you are at a Starbucks and they give you a beverage cup, you can recycle that in paper recycling. However, lids cannot be recycled. Lids for soft drinks and coffee are a type of 6 plastic. So keep that in mind. One way you could reduce your waste is if you go and get a drink at a fast food place, don't get a lid to it. Just use the cup. So some things you cannot recycle, some misconceptions. Any kind of plastic bag like this, or any kind of wrap. So plastic wrap, but even thinking about food packaging. Food packaging that's like a light plastic around it, those cannot be recycled. Plastic cutlery and straws cannot be recycled. They're part of a number 6 plastic. All types of styrofoam are also a 6 plastic. So just can't be recycled. There's nothing we can do with it. Paper towels, napkins, and tissues cannot be recycled either. So again, you know all the mains, things you can and can't recycle, but I wanted to bring these up because these are some of the ones that maybe you didn't know about. And something to keep in mind, especially when you go out to eat, is keeping in mind how can you reduce your waste or at least recycle your waste. Now, that saying I gave you, reduce, reuse, recycle, and discard responsibly. Some things you just can't recycle, but some things should also not go to a landfill or should not be incinerated. This is essentially hazardous waste, things like paints, things like old light bulbs. So what do we do with it here in Montgomery County? We are really, really fortunate to be in an area where we have a hazardous waste collection center that is at the Shady Grove transfer station. That's the same transfer station where all of our trash trucks go. They also have a civilian side of it where people like you and me can go. I personally have been there quite a few times to take some of my hazardous waste. You and I, as residents of Montgomery County, can go for free. Honestly, they don't even check IDs, so really if you got friends in neighboring counties, they can come over. So Shady Grove will take things like scrap metal items. This could be like a piece of metal. This could be a fridge you can take there. All kinds of new light bulbs need to be taken there. For example, the CFL, the compact fluorescent light bulbs, they have mercury in them. These should not be going to a trash can. So take those there. Any kind of electronic, batteries, printer ink, car things, so any kind of liquid that comes in or goes out of a car, paint, chemicals, aka anything you keep under your sink, anything that you clean with, anything that is a liquid, even if you don't even know what it is, you can take it to them and they dispose of it how it should be disposed of. They treat it how it should be. It goes to a special recycling center. It goes somewhere not incinerated and not a landfill. So again, you and I can do this for free, and it's actually very easy. It's all drive up. You go in and there's 15 different drop-off places. You put your antifreeze here, you put your paper here, you put your chemicals over here. So really awesome system. So in summary, we make a lot of waste, but you and I can actually do a lot to prevent that waste, or at least make sure that we're discarding responsibly. So keep this in mind anytime, anywhere, when the opportunity to get an item exists. What can you do with that item? Can you recycle it? Maybe you choose not to buy an item because you can't recycle the packaging. So just keep this in mind because we want to drop that 4.5 pounds. We do not want to make 4.5 pounds of waste a day. We don't want to be the #1 waste producer in the world. So all of us can do our part in order to reduce our waste, and our federal government is helping us along the way by making new regulations to help address this problem.